I invite you to take out your pew Bible and turn to page 6 in the New Testament. Matthew 6, verses 19 through 21. So today, we are beginning a new sermon series and a series of lessons in Sunday school classes called Treasure. Now, full disclosure, this is our annual stewardship campaign. At the end of this time, we're going to invite you to make a financial commitment to the operating budget of Main Street United Methodist Church. We will do that on November 22nd, which is the last day of this series. But between now and then, what we want to be doing is doing some serious praying and thinking and reflecting upon the words of Jesus from Matthew chapter 6. And we want to make this a time of spiritual growth as we think about this question: where is your treasure? Where is your treasure? Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21, Jesus says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Please pray with me. Oh God in heaven, it is very hard for us to look at our lives and see what you see. Self-examination is difficult for us. I pray now, God, that you would give us a supernatural ability to be honest with ourselves. And let all who agree with this say amen. So today we have celebrated the saints who have transferred from the church militant to the church triumphant. These bells over here represent many of your loved ones, people who are dear to you, who are now in glory in the presence of God. Something I always think about on All Saints' Day. Wonder what those folks are doing right now. Those people we love who impacted our lives, who are now with God, wonder what they're doing right now. Do you think they're sitting up in heaven going, "Oh, man, I wish I had a flat screen TV"? Do you think they're up in heaven looking over the rail down at earth and going, hey, you, that's my car. Hey, that's my coat. Put that back. I might need that. Hey, what are you doing playing with my golf clubs? You're going to ruin them with that swing of yours. Do you think the saints in glory who have gone on before us, those people we love, do you think right now they're sitting up in heaven going, I wish I'd spent more time at the office? Or how about this? Do you think maybe the saints in glory are looking into the eyes of people that they loved on earth? People they loved on earth who have gone before them? And now reunited with those who went before them, do you think they are looking into their eyes and saying, "I'm so glad I invested in our relationship"? Do you think maybe they're looking at the face of God and saying, "Oh, I'm so glad I spent time with you and got to know you"? Do you think maybe the saints in glory are still treasuring what they heard Jesus say when they got there? "I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was naked and you gave me clothes. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was sick. I was in prison and you visited me." And do you think the saints in glory that still ringing in their ears are the words they heard Jesus say when He looked in their eyes and said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into your rest"? Now that these people are with God, seeing things from God's perspective, what do you think is important to them? And are those things important to us. Jesus said, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth. In other words, don't invest all your time and money and energy in the stuff of earth. I mean, possessions are not bad, okay? You need a car to get around. You need clothes to cover your body. You need a house to keep you warm. You need a telephone to communicate. Most of you probably need a computer to do email and to work online and so forth. It's not that there's something wrong with those things. We need those things to sustain life, but they are not life itself. Those things are important, but they're not what life is really about. And listen, the problem with possessions is they don't last. Your car is going to quit running. Your clothes are going to wear out. Your telephone's going to quit working. And 2 months from now, that brand new computer you just bought is going to be obsolete. Jesus said, don't put all your time, money, and energy into the stuff that's not going to last. He said, instead, store up treasure in heaven. In other words, invest your time, money, and energy in things that will last forever, like a relationship with God and relationships with God's people. Invest in the Word of God, the worship of God, the work of God. These are things that will last forever. Now, so far, I probably have not told you anything you didn't already know. I mean, I seriously doubt that there's any of you sitting here right now that if I went up to you and I said, what's really important in life? You would say, my stuff. I don't care about people. I just want my stuff. None of you is like that. We all know what's important. It's not that we don't know what's important, it's just that we struggle to prioritize what's important. We get so caught up in the demands of everyday life, the busyness and the stress. And we all our money goes to the bills we have to pay, and all our time goes to the demands of work and family and concerns and so forth. And we're struggling just to keep our heads above water. And despite our best intentions, we end up investing all of our treasure of time, money, and energy in stuff on earth. Now, I want you to understand today, I'm not bringing any judgment to you, and I am preaching to myself as a fellow struggler. We all know what's important. It's just we struggle to live for what's important. And so that's why we're doing this series called Treasure. The goal of this series is to help you stop, slow down, reflect, hear the words of Jesus, and think about where your treasure is, where you want your treasure to be, and what changes you need to make. Now, if this series is going to work, you're going to have to do some homework. You're going to have to do some thinking and praying and listening and studying on your own between the worship services. And so I hope that if you have not already, you will pick up this book. These are going to be available in the breezeway right out here for $10. And if this is a financial hardship for you, don't be embarrassed about saying privately to the person out there at the table, I can't really afford it, and they'll let you have one. But if you can pay, it's $10, and this is 28 daily devotions and exercises. There's little writing exercises and such, and these will help you do the work of stopping and reflecting and praying and making the changes you need to make to put your treasure where you want it to be. This series is centered on two very important questions. I want to ask you these. I want you to think about these questions, and if you're somebody who likes to write things down, you might want to write these down. Write them down maybe on the back of your prayer list. Two questions we're going to think about for 4 weeks. The first one is this: where do I want to invest my treasure? And by treasure we mean time, money, energy. First question, where do I want to invest my treasure? Second question, where am I really investing my treasure? My time, money, and energy. These are the two questions we're going to think about for the next 4 weeks. Where do I want to invest my treasure? Where am I really investing my treasure? Now, no judgment, but I suspect for a lot of us, if we really answer those questions honestly, we're going to see a discrepancy between our answers to the two questions. Where do I want to invest my treasure? As I said earlier, I'm sure that most of you, all of you, would say, I want to invest my treasure, my time, money, and energy in the things that are really important. I want to invest in my relationship with God. I want to invest in my relationships with other people. I want to invest in making a difference in the world. I want to invest in my church. I want to invest in God's work on earth. But then if you really consider the other question, where am I really investing? My bet is that if you get out your calendar and look at where your time really goes, and you get out your bank statement and look at where your money really goes, and you look at your life and think about where your energy really goes, my bet is you'll be disappointed. The good news is there's still time to make a change. The good news is you can exchange treasures on earth for treasures in heaven. You know what? On January 1st, 2002, a whole bunch of European money became worthless. January 1st, 2002, that's when 17 European countries adopted the euro, the common European currency. Now, the different countries gave different grace periods for how long you could still use the old currency, but Germany, they were the first to set their deadline at January 1st, 2002. They said after January 1st, 2002, the German mark, the Deutsche Mark, will no longer be legal tender in this country. Now let's imagine for a second that I'm a German citizen and it's December of 2001 and I've got all these Deutschmarks stored up, these beautiful Deutschmarks, and I love my Deutschmarks. Ich liebe meine Deutschmarken. Ich werde sie haben. I treasure my Deutschmarks. I don't want to let go of them, so I refuse to go to the bank and exchange them for euros. I'm holding on to my Deutschmarks, and then all of a sudden, it's January 1st, 2002, and all that money is worthless. Do you see where I'm going with this? The day is coming, my friends, when all of our earthly treasures will be worthless. Now, it's too late to exchange your Deutschmarks for euros, but it is not too late to exchange your earthly treasures for treasures in heaven. As long as you're still alive, as long as you're still sucking in air, you can exchange treasure on earth for treasures in heaven. See, listen, when you give to the poor, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you help somebody in need, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you spend time studying the Bible and worshiping and praying, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you spend time with somebody you love and you witness to them about Jesus Christ, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you teach a Sunday school class or mentor a young person, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you bake a casserole for somebody who just got out of the hospital, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you visit shut-ins, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you go on a mission trip or support a missionary, you're storing up treasure in heaven. When you give to God's work through Main Street United Methodist Church, you're storing up treasure in heaven. And so I ask you, where is your treasure?